Don't be a talking dog. The purpose of these next few days are for you to take action. Ideas are a dime a dozen. It's the people who put them into practice who are priceless. See, too many people want to get paid for what they know as opposed to getting paid for what they feel, think, be, do, have, and give for what they know. Fair enough? By the way, did you notice what I did? I put myself in your perspective. And by the way, I think we need to give Regan a huge round of applause for the work he's done to put together these next couple of days. I think that's amazing. I mean, he has cared for our needs. But if you notice, I put myself in your perspective. And I said, you know, there might be some people here that didn't bring a pen. And I had pens for you. I think as people here with this business, part of your job is to anticipate the needs of your customers. Is to put yourself in their perspectives, is try to guess what's coming over the horizon so we can position ourselves to take advantage of your sense of humor. So if we can agree that your sense of humor is your sense of perspective, then can't we agree it's the combination, it's the distillation, it's a result of all the information that you process through your other six senses. So literally, your sense of humor ends up being your attitude. And don't we see people with attitudes? To my great late friend, E. Larry Moles from Lima, Ohio, he says, I see people walking around looking like they were weaned on a pickle. You've got these attitudes. Well, where do you get your attitudes? Psychiatrists will tell us between birth and 13. And for many of us, that wasn't a pleasant experience. Bradshaw said 98% of the families out there are dysfunctional. I disagree, 100%. Yes. Any perfect childhoods here today? But it's never too late to change your perspective. There's usually a couple. There's never too late to change your attitude. There's never too late to look at something different. Wayne Dyer says when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, where did I get my perspective? Well, first of all, I didn't become Italian until I was 20 days old. I was adopted. That's when I became Italian. That's when I made my first sale. It was 20 days. It was all eye contact and body language. Although my dear Sicilian mother said, no, I picked the one next to you, and they gave me the wrong baby. I had somebody call me up a few years ago. They came up after and said, Sorentino, I know somebody who made a sale before they were 20 days old. I said, no way. He said, yes way. I said, what is it? He said, he married the nurse that delivered him. Yeah, that's a little creepy if you ask me. My first thought was, talk about love at first sight. Man, I get a call about 15 years ago. Is this Phil Sorentino? Yes. Were you born on August 1st, 1951? Yes. We're with Reunite. We put adopted families together. You have a sister that wants to talk to you. Are you interested? I said, well, Cheers is starting. Can I call you back? I found I'm one of 7 kids on my biological mother's side. I'm her third by the time she was 18 by 3 different guys. Mother. I get my biological mom on the phone for the first time in my life. I said, Mom, I've always teased I was conceived in the back seat of a Buick. She goes, I really don't remember what kind of car it was. At the age of 2, my adopted sister died. At the age of 6, my adopted father died 3 days after Christmas. At the age of 9, my adopted mother got into alcohol and suicide, so I have no abandonment issues. I'm ADD and dyslexic, so the nuns and I got along swimmingly well. I had a nun in the 4th grade whack me in the back of the head with a music book. I turned around, she said, that's for everything I've never caught you doing. I turned around and said, well, you better hit me again, honey, because you're missing a lot. She waxed me a second time. Started to work when I was 11. Cleaned toilets for 80 cents an hour when I was 14 years old, and I was 5'1" when I graduated from high school. I went out for football, but they already had one. But the past is the past is the past. There comes a time in every one of our lives where we have to say to ourselves, I'm going to stop letting my past ruin my future and rob me of my present. Wherever you are in life, somebody's had it worse and made it, and somebody's had it better and blown it. So it's your choice. Now, if you notice on this page, what's the first word I have on there? Feel. I used to say the most stupidest thing you can say to yourself and somebody else is you shouldn't feel that way, until my wife corrected me. She said, dear, it's either stupidest or most stupid. It's not most stupidest. I went, yes, dear. So the stupidest thing you can say to yourself and anybody else is you shouldn't feel that way. Your feelings, that's the thermometer of your soul. And denying your feelings is like putting a sticker over the gas gauge of your automobile and saying to yourself, I'm not going to pay any attention to that information, and see how far that gets you. So when you're trying to analyze yourself, honor where you feel. Don't deny it. Honor it. Then what's the next word? On your handouts. Think. So here's what I feel. What do I think about what I feel? Do I want to stay where I am? Do I want to drop down the emotional guidance scale? Do I want to go up the emotional guidance scale? Then what is it? Be or believe. Anybody know Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now? Mm-hmm. Talks about we worry about the past, we worry about the future, and very rarely are we in the present. And all life is a series of presents. The past resides in your memory. The future resides in your imagination. All we really have is the now. So what do you want to be? Or if you choose not to that, believe. And belief is just thoughts thought over and over again becomes your belief. If you think something over and over again, that turns into your belief. Then do. Faith without works is dead. And you're going to hear some great messages today from some of the other people about what can you do to be successful in this business. Then what do you have and what do you give? And I believe you cannot give yourself. Bless you. It's impossible. The universe won't let you. Right? That's why it's so important to get into the spirit of giving. Whether it's your time, your energy, your intention, your service. And when we read about what this company was built on, that's in there very strong. Said we're not human beings that have spiritual experiences. We're spiritual beings. And we're just currently having a human experience. Now don't get me wrong, stuff happens. If you have not had a tragedy in your life yet, don't worry, you will. As a matter of fact, I was with a friend of mine, we were walking along the beach. He said, Phil, wouldn't it be nice if life was like a walk on the beach? I said, well, let's think about this. What grows on a beach? Not much, right? But what grows in fertilizer? A lot. So it's the crap in your life that makes you grow. I had one lady go, I ought to be pretty big by now. I said, yeah, ma'am, you ought to be. Is that mine or yours? I said, yeah, ma'am, I said, you ought to be. What are you missing? Right? Are you missing those challenges that are coming along that are really there for growth? And I believe it's little things. And I'm going to do this in honor of my friend from Oklahoma City. I'd given a speech. Well, he's from Tulsa, but it's Oklahoma. I'd given a speech, and a man came up to me with tears streaming down his face. He said, Mr. Sorentino, you changed my life. I said, sir, that's very kind of you, but you changed your life. I simply reminded you some things you haven't thought about in a while. He said, man, that's true. He said, I am the vice president of the Federal Credit Union in Oklahoma City. I said, sir, I'm a small company, but if you pay my expenses, I'll come and give you a freebie. He said, you would do that? I said, it would be a gift. He says, you talk a lot about your wife during your programs. Do you think she'd like to join you on this trip? Did that tell me something about him? I tried to give him some. What did he try to do? He tried to up it just as much as he could. I said, oh, she'd love to get away from the children. And they need a break from her. And on August 19th, 4 months to the day, I had the gift to stand in front of the survivors, still in their neck braces, still in their casts, still in their wheelchairs, their spouses, and the surviving spouses of the Federal Credit Union in Oklahoma City. The next day, we toured the bomb site. How many have ever been to the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C.? For those of you who've never gone to the wall, I challenge you the next time you're in our nation's capital, go. Unless, of course, you have a very personal reason why you can't. And this next part of my program came through me, I think it'll be 20 years. So this was before 9/11. This was before my son joined the Army, and this was before we got involved in these wars that we're currently fighting. We do not honor our veterans in this country enough. We do not honor the men and women not only gave their life, gave a good chunk of their life, so the rest of us have this freedom that I know I take for granted from time to time. And as a matter of fact, there was a whole group of veterans, when they came back doing what we asked them to do, we didn't treat them very well at all. So at this point, if you are a veteran, And if you're from another country and this applies to you for your country, please, we want to honor you too. If your parents or grandparents are veterans, because we know as a family member, we pay a price too. If you have an aunt or an uncle that's a veteran, if you have a brother or a sister, a spouse, a child, a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, or a cousin that's a veteran, I would like you to stand up. I would like to thank you, and I would hope the rest of us would like to thank you one more time. Wow. Cool. Well, the same feeling I got when I stood in front of that wall is the same feeling I got when I toured the Bible site. And I saw my reflection come back at me through over, who knows the number from Vietnam? 58. But you're very close. 58,000 names. Is the same feeling I got when I toured that bomb site. 168 souls were set free in one instant. And what I took away from that event was simply this, was 10 minutes after that tragedy, people were risking their lives for people who 20 minutes earlier they wouldn't have said hello to on the sidewalk. The people running into that building as the debris was still falling to try to save somebody who 24 hours ago was going, "You stole my stapler!" Don't tell me it's not little things. When a tragedy happens to anyone within your sphere of influence, did you do everything you can to help them?